The campus Madonna told my childhood friend that she loved Jackie Chan movies. He tied my arms and legs to 4 gigantic drones. Monday came by. Right in front of the whole school, the drones hauled me up 300 feet into the air. The students' laughter was so thunderous, the sky shook. The videos they took went viral. I remained in the air until the drones ran out of battery and flew back down. My childhood friend untied me, grinning like he'd just pulled a harmless prank. Wendy loves Jackie Chan, so I thought you should give her a little police story show. We've been friends our whole lives. You don't mind, do you? I crumpled to the ground. Wendy Wood was leaning against my childhood friend's chest, and she was laughing so much, tears rolled down her cheeks. You call that Jackie Chan? She just wet herself. And she cackled further. I walked off and never came back. That drove my childhood friend mad. We've been friends forever. You're overreacting. I went back home and locked myself in the bathroom. Then, I turned the shower's heat up as high as possible. The steam fogged up the mirror and my eyes. I took off my drenched pants and tossed them into the bin, along with my panties. It was my desperate attempt at washing off the stench of humiliation and the looks everyone threw at me. Again and again, I scrubbed my body. I scrubbed my skin hard enough until it peeled off and turned red. No matter how hard I washed myself, I could not shake off the sense of vertigo and the howls of the winds ringing in my ears. I could never forget their grins. Joseph Pincher and Wendy Wood. My mother was knocking on the door. Jess, your father has an appointment tonight, and I'm going to Helen's for game night. You handle dinner yourself. Yeah, I answered, my voice hoarse and drowned out by the running water. Might as well. I didn't want my parents to see me like this. I stayed in the bathroom for what felt like an eternity. The steaming water eventually became colder than ice. I came out, shivering like a chick. My phone was buzzing wildly on my desk. It was the class group chat. There were already more than 99 messages tagging me. I opened the chat, and the first thing I saw was a bolded headline. Movie of the year. Police story in real life. Watch her fly. I was hanging in midair like a puppet with strings holding up its limbs in the video. When the camera drew close to my face, it showed nothing but a twisted expression of horror. The comments all laughed at me. Holy shit, I think I can meme her. Honestly, Joseph, I can't believe you went so far just to make Wendy happy. I can't believe Jessica wet her pants. I made sure to get a close-up. Anyone want it? Come on, show us already. Shut up and take my money. Huh, that's what she gets for trying to take Joseph. She should look in a mirror sometimes. I left the group chat. The socials were worse. Joseph posted a status with a photo of me struggling in the air. He tagged Wendy. Another day, another happy moment for my princess. Wendy replied immediately, oh, you're the best, Joseph. But are you sure Jess won't get mad? The comments mocked me even further. You're so kind, Wendy. You shouldn't care about her. Her? Mad? She has no right to get mad. She should be on her knees and thank Joseph for letting her tag along with him. Yeah. She's just an annoying bum. I turned my phone off. My heart had frozen up. An ice-cold hand had it wrapped around its palm. The agony was cutting off the air from my lungs. 10 years. For 10 years I knew Joseph. I'd been his lackey since the day my father worked as his father's driver. I did everything he told me to and never said no. When he got hungry, I would jump over the house's walls and sneak out just to get his favorite shrimp burger. When he told me he hated tests, I would burn the midnight oil just to highlight all the important parts and make notes for him. If he were playing any kind of sport, I was his gopher. If he got into any fights, I would be the one to apologize on his behalf. Everyone called me his loyal pup. I thought he had affection for me. Now, I saw what I was. I was nothing but a plaything. I went to school the next day. No, I wasn't degrading myself. I had some things I had to take back. The moment I stepped inside, everyone had their eyes on me. I could see the mockery, disdain, and amusement in their gaze. When I walked down the corridor, some of the students mimicked how I struggled in the air. Everyone around them laughed. I walked into the classroom without looking any other way. Joseph was sitting with Wendy. That girl took my spot. She was leaning on the desk, staring at Joseph with a sickly sweet smile on her lips. Joseph was staring down at her, curling a lock of her hair around his finger. I'd never seen him acting so sweet. He raised his head and offered me an indifferent look. Hey. He was calm, as if he hadn't nearly killed me the day before. Wendy sat up and gave me an apologetic look. I'm sorry, Jess. I had no idea they would go so far. I just said I thought Jackie Chan's movies were cool, and then she started tearing up. I gave her no response. Joseph frowned and pulled me aside. Hey, she already said she's sorry. What more do you want? Impatience laced his voice. It was just a prank. Stop looking at us like we owe you something. Fine, I know you sprained something because the drone's batteries died. I'll pay for the meds. He took out hundreds of dollars from his pockets and tried to stuff them into my hands. I moved away, and the bills fluttered down to the ground. His face fell. Don't push it, Jessica. I'm only saying sorry because we're childhood friends. It's not like I can't live without you. The class was staring at us, engaged in whispered discussion. I can't believe she's pushing away money. Yeah, if it were me, I'd do the same thing 100 times. I bent down, picked up the money, and approached Wendy. Then I slammed the cash into her face right in front of the whole class. I don't give a flying fuck about your apology or money. And woman, this is my spot. Get your ass off. Silence choked the classroom. Everyone was staring at me in shock, including Joseph. He never thought the usually gentle me would do something so outrageous. Wendy's face turned into a sickly shade of greenish-white. Tears were swirling in her eyes, and she looked at Joseph like a hurt kitten. Joseph. Joseph snapped out of it and shoved me off. Are you out of your goddamn mind, Jessica? That threw me off balance, and my back slammed into the corner of a desk. The pain nearly took me out, but I kept my eyes locked on Wendy. Slowly, I repeated, I'll say this one last time. Get your ass off my seat. The look in my eyes scared her, and she stood up without thinking. Then I started packing my stuff. I did not care what everyone else was doing. I put my books, my notebooks, and a pen into my bag. All my stuff, I took all of them. Joseph was still standing, but his chest was heaving. What are you doing? Trying to fuck off now? He was still mad. I ignored him. Then he grabbed my hand with enough force to crush my bones. I'm talking to you, Jessica. I've known you for 10 years. You're overreacting. This again. Finally, I looked into his eyes. His eyes used to be as bright as stars. Now they were only filled with fury and confusion. Have you ever wondered what it felt like to be hung 300 feet in the sky, Joseph? Ever wondered what it felt like to be watched like a chimpanzee doing unnatural tricks in a circus? Ever wondered what it felt like when the girl you like laughed at you for wetting your pants? Every question drained more color out of his face. Not a sentence came out of his mouth. You think I'm overreacting? I call this an appropriate response. I flung his hand away, zipped my backpack, and stormed off. What followed me was the classroom silence. Instead of going home, I went to the hospital. My aunt was a department head here. She noticed the bruise on my hand and the deathly pale look on my face, but she said nothing. She put me through a series of tests and checkups. When the report came to her and she went through it, her face fell. Acute stress disorder, severe anxiety, and depression tendency. She slammed the report down on her desk with enough force to crush a boulder. The fury in her eyes threatened to burn everything around her. That son of a whore. I'm going to drag his ass for this. Auntie. I pulled her back. I don't want to make this mess bigger than it already is. It's not big enough. My aunt was shivering in rage. Not when he nearly got you killed. What about your parents? They're just going to watch while these crotch goblins bully you? I hung my head low. My father was the Pincher's chauffeur, while my mother was one of their servants. They would never demand an answer from their employer's son. Whatever Joseph did was right, at least to them. They thought I deserved to suffer a little. After all, we needed the Pinchers to survive. Quietly, I said, I want to go to a new school. This was why I came to my father's sister. My aunt was stunned, but then she realized what I was trying to say. Yes, of course. You're leaving that hellhole this instant. So where do you want to go? I'll handle everything. How about Clementia? I can help you out if you attend a college there. Clementia was a big city and took 4 hours to arrive by car. It was far enough to stay away from all the things and people I refused to see again. My aunt did things fast. She tapped into her connections and contacted someone from Clementia's best high school. The admin took one look at my grades and the report that said I had ASD, and they agreed to give me a spot. It'll be done next week if everything goes well, my aunt said. Thank you, Auntie. Don't mention it, my girl. She patted my head. I could see the worry in her eyes. Just stay with me for now, okay? I changed my SIM card that very night and tossed my old one into a trash bin at the hospital. As I lay on the bed in my aunt's house, my eyes set on the moon outside. For the first time in 10 years, I did not say goodnight to Joseph. No longer will I get any messages from him again. No longer would he order me around like I was some sort of servant. I had a hole in my heart, but I also felt relief. Then my phone buzzed. My aunt. That Pincher kid nearly made my phone explode. He wants to know where you are. I ignored him. You did well, Jess. Some people aren't worth it. Tears rolled down my cheeks as I read that message. Yes, he wasn't worth it. I spent 10 years giving all my love to him, and all I gained in return was humiliation. A premeditated crime. What a joke. I was at the center of it, too. The transfer process was done a week later. My parents had no idea at all. I told them my school organized a training camp for an upcoming competition. That training camp would run for 2 weeks. They bought that story, and they were pleased. To them, I was making them proud. My mother gave me $150 before I left. Don't try to scrimp out there. Get yourself whatever you want. And don't spend all your time buried in books. Go out with your friends sometimes. My father said, take care of yourself. Don't cause any trouble for Mr. Pincher. My blood ran cold. So he thought Joseph was the reason I went to that camp. But I said nothing. Instead, I took the money and nodded. My aunt picked me up. As she drove me away from the city that raised me, I did not turn back even once. Clementia High was better than I thought. The campus was huge, and trees covered nearly every inch. The air was thick with academia. My new homeroom was a soft-spoken, middle-aged woman. She went through my file and patted my shoulder, but she said nothing about it. Welcome, Jessica. This will be your new home. My seat was in the 4th row near the window. A girl called Kaylee Simpson sat on my right. She was a lively one, that girl. Hi, I'm Kaylee. Kaylee Simpson. My friends call me Kaylee. She smiled, and she had dimples. Jessica Chase. Nice name. I don't hear a lot of Chases in my life. The girl was overly friendly, and she told me all about the school and my new classroom, like which teacher was the stricter one and which days sold the better food. Howard Safron's the de facto leader of this gang. He's super great with his studies, and he's really nice. You can go to him if you have any questions about this subject. She pointed at the boy in the 1st row. He was quietly going through his book. The boy was slender, and he had a clean look. Then he turned his head around. Our stares caught his attention. Trouble haunts her. He gave us a friendly nod. A little nervous, I smiled at him. I was in a new place, and all around me were new people. Things were looking nice for a chance. No one was looking at me like I was an oddity. No one knew about my humiliating past. I had a second chance at life. Here I thought my story with Joseph had come to an end, but I'd forgotten that Joseph was not someone who would let go that easily. Not especially when he thought the things that were his were coveted by someone else. One afternoon, after school, I saw someone familiar outside the gate. Joseph was leaning on his gaudy motorcycle, a cigarette hanging from his lips. He lost a lot of weight. Dark circles hung under his eyes. He looked dejected and furious. The moment he saw me, he tossed his cigarette away and strode up to me. Had enough fun, Jessica? His voice was hoarse, and there was fury lying underneath. You're coming home with me. The intense situation scared Kaylee. She grabbed my arm. Who's this guy, Jessica? A total lunatic, I said coldly. Lunatic? Joseph sounded like he'd just heard the funniest joke in the world. He laughed, but his eyes were icily cold. Yes. A lunatic, the lunatic you made me into. You ran all the way here without saying a word to me, and you made sure I couldn't get in touch with you. I nearly went crazy looking for you. So? I looked at him calmly. We're already done. Done? He squeezed my hand with enough power to break something. It's not done. We had 10 years between us. Your father is still my dad's chauffeur, and your mother is still one of my family's servants. If you don't do as I say, I'll fire them tomorrow. I had never seen him lose control this much before. This was also his first time using my parents against me. My blood ran cold. Let her go, someone said icily. It was Howard. He was already standing beside me before I knew it. One by one, he pulled Joseph's fingers off my arm. He was not moving fast, but he was not holding back either. Joseph narrowed his eyes. He was sizing up Howard like he wanted to figure out how to destroy him. Who the fuck are you? Howard pulled me behind him. Coolly, he looked at Joseph. Her classmate. You're her boyfriend, aren't you? Joseph sneered. The disdain and mockery in his eyes were palpable. He turned to me. You've only been gone for days, and you've already hooked up with a new guy? Bad taste. He's a broke nerd. I can smell the poverty from over here. That did not faze Howard. He remained calm. Who I am does not matter. What matters is Jessica doesn't want to go with you. You don't get to decide that. Furious, Joseph raised his fist and swung it at Howard. I screamed, but Howard turned to his side and evaded that punch easily. Kaylee was right behind him, however, and she was not lucky. The punch grazed her, and she fell to the ground. Then chaos followed. The guard showed up a moment later and pulled the boys away from each other. I, Howard, and Joseph were taken to the principal's office. Ms. Zimmerman and my aunt arrived shortly thereafter. Joseph's parents showed up as well. Tom, Joseph's father, launched into a tirade against me right away. He jabbed a finger at my face. How dare you, Jessica? You told us you were going to a training camp. But here you are, hooking up with some random bastard. Susan, Joseph's mother, grabbed her son. Worried, she checked his wounds. My boy, are you hurt? That peasant. How dare he hit you? That filthy, lowly peasant. My aunt was shaking with rage. She hurled my checkup report into their faces. You're accusing my niece? Look at this. This is what your son did. He tortured my niece so hard, she has severe depression now. How dare you twist the story and make your son out to be the victim? How dare you? The silence in the principal's office was absolute. The only sound was the rustling of paper as Tom and Susan Pincher stared at the medical report my aunt had thrown at them. Acute stress disorder. Severe anxiety. Depressive tendencies. Tom's face flushed a deep, ugly red. Susan looked from the paper to me, then to Joseph, her mouth opening and closing like a fish out of water. This is exaggerated, Tom sputtered finally, tossing the papers onto the principal's desk. Kids play rough. It was a prank. A prank? My aunt stepped forward, her voice trembling not with fear, but with a rage so profound it made the air heavy. He tied her to drones, Tom. He hung her 300 feet in the air for 20 minutes. He filmed it. He laughed while she screamed. That's not a prank. That's torture. Joseph stood in the corner, arms crossed, looking bored. But I saw the twitch in his jaw. He wasn't bored. He was cornered. She liked Jackie Chan, Joseph muttered. It was just a joke. A joke? I spoke up for the first time. My voice was quiet, but it cut through the room. I wet myself, Joseph. In front of the whole school. You posted it online. You tagged Wendy. You called it a show. Joseph flinched. He looked at me, really looked at me, and for a split second, the mask of arrogance slipped. He saw the girl who used to buy him shrimp burgers. He saw the girl who wrote his notes. And he saw that she was gone. I didn't think. He started, his voice cracking. No, I said. You didn't. You never do. Tom Pincher straightened his tie, regaining his composure. He was a businessman. He knew how to spin a narrative. Fine. It went too far. We'll pay for therapy. We'll pay for the transfer fees. But Jessica is coming home. Her parents are worried sick. Her parents, my aunt spat, are your employees. They do what you tell them. Jessica is staying here. I am her legal guardian in this city, and I have filed for temporary custody based on negligence. Tom's eyes narrowed. You wouldn't dare. Try me. The principal, a stern man named Mr. Henderson, cleared his throat. Mr. Pincher, your son assaulted a student on school grounds. He trespassed. He threatened a female student. Regardless of your personal history, Joseph is banned from this campus. If he returns, I will call the police. Susan gasped. But we're the Pinchers. And this is Clementia High, Mr. Henderson said calmly. We don't care about your last name. We care about our students. He turned to Joseph. Leave. Now. Joseph looked at me. His eyes burned with a mix of hatred and desperation. You think you can just walk away, Jess? You think you're better than me now because you found some nerd to protect you? He glared at Howard, who was standing quietly by the door, nursing a bruised cheek. I don't need anyone to protect me, I said. I just need you to leave me alone. Joseph sneered. We'll see about that. Dad, let's go. As they left, Joseph slammed the door so hard the glass pane rattled. My aunt hugged me, her body shaking. It's okay, Jess. It's okay. But I looked at the door, and I knew it wasn't okay. Joseph Pincher didn't lose. He just changed the game. The next few weeks were a blur of paranoia. Every time a motorcycle revved, I flinched. Every time I got a text from an unknown number, my heart stopped. But life at Clementia High went on. Kaylee, despite being grazed by the punch, stuck to me like glue. She thought the whole thing was like a movie, though she had the decency to be terrified when Joseph actually swung. And Howard? Howard was different. He didn't treat me like a victim. He didn't ask about the drone incident, though I knew the video had probably circulated even here. He just treated me like Jessica. We started studying together in the library. He helped me catch up on the curriculum, which was far more advanced than my old school. You're smart, he said one day, looking over my calculus homework. You just hesitate. Like you're afraid to be right. I used to do homework for someone else, I admitted, staring at the equations. If I got a better grade than him on my own test, he'd get mad. So I learned to make mistakes on purpose. Howard put his pen down. His eyes, usually so calm behind his glasses, darkened. That's incredibly sad, Jessica. It was survival. Well, you don't have to survive here, he said softly. You can just live. I looked at him. Really looked at him. He wasn't the flashy, golden boy type like Joseph. He was quiet strength. He was the kind of guy who stood in front of a punch without flinching. Why did you help me? I asked. That day at the gate. Howard shrugged, looking back at his book. I don't like bullies. And, you looked like you were about to shatter. I didn't want to see the pieces fall. I felt a warmth in my chest I hadn't felt in years. But the peace didn't last. It started with my parents. My mother called me 3 weeks after the incident. She was crying. Jess, please come home, she sobbed. Mr. Pincher, he fired your father. He kicked us out of the servants' quarters. We have nowhere to go. My stomach dropped. He fired you? He said it was because of you. Because you were ungrateful. He said if you come back and apologize to Joseph, maybe he'll reconsider. Mom, I whispered, tears pricking my eyes. Joseph tortured me. He humiliated me. I know, baby, I know, she wept. But we have to eat. Your father is too old to find a new driving job. Please, Jess. Just apologize. For us. I hung up the phone and threw it across the room. It smashed against the wall, cracking the screen. I sat on the floor of my aunt's guest room and screamed. It was the trap I always knew was coming. The Pinchers owned us. They owned my parents' livelihood, their home, their dignity. And now they were using it to drag me back. My aunt came in, alarmed by the noise. She saw the phone, saw my face, and understood immediately. They fired them, she stated. Yes. Good, she said, her voice hard. I looked up, shocked. Good? Your parents had been slaves to that family for 20 years, Jessica. They let you become a slave too. It's time they woke up. But they're homeless. They can stay here, my aunt said. I have space. I have savings. But they are not going back to the Pinchers. And neither are you. She sat down next to me and took my hand. Listen to me. Tom Pincher is bluffing. He thinks if he squeezes hard enough, you'll pop. But he forgot that you're not the same girl anymore. You have armor now. I don't feel armored, I whispered. I feel like I'm drowning. That's just the tide turning, she said. Learn to swim. My parents moved in a week later. It was awkward. My father wouldn't look me in the eye. He felt ashamed that his daughter had caused his ruin, but he was too proud to admit that his employer was a monster. My mother just cried. She missed her kitchen, her garden, her routine. I felt the weight of their misery on my shoulders every day. At school, things were getting weird. Rumors started spreading about Howard. Nasty ones. Someone posted on the school forum that Howard had cheated on the SATs. That his father was in jail for embezzlement. That he was a creep who stalked girls. It was a smear campaign. And I knew exactly who was behind it. It's Joseph, I told Howard at lunch. He was picking at his sandwich, looking tired. People were whispering around us. I know, Howard said. I traced the IPs. They're coming from a cybercafe in your hometown. He's targeting you because of me. He's targeting me because I stood up to him, Howard corrected. Bullies hate resistance. It confuses them. We have to do something, I said. He won't stop. I know. Howard looked up, a glint of steel in his eyes. So we stop him. How? Joseph loves attention, right? He loves being the star. The viral sensation. Yes. So let's make him famous, Howard said. For real this time. Howard was a computer genius. I knew he was smart, but I didn't know he was that smart. He spent the next 3 nights digging. He dug into Joseph's social media, his private accounts, which had laughably weak passwords, and his cloud storage. He found the raw footage of the drone incident. The one Joseph hadn't posted. The one where he was laughing with his friends beforehand, planning it. Make sure the knots are tight, Joseph said in the video. I want her to scream. If she falls, who cares? My dad will cover it up. He said that? I whispered, staring at the screen. He said it, Howard confirmed. Premeditated assault with disregard for human life. That's a felony, Jessica. But Howard found more. He found emails between Tom Pincher and the local police chief in my hometown. Emails discussing donations to the police fund in exchange for burying reports about Joseph's reckless driving, his fights, and yes, the drone incident. This is bigger than bullying, Howard said. This is corruption. What do? We don't go to the police, Howard said. Not the local ones. We go to the internet. But not just a forum post. We go nuclear. We spent a week editing. We compiled the drone footage, the prank planning video, the emails, redacting names just enough to avoid libel but keeping the incriminating parts, and my medical report. We created a documentary. A 10-minute exposé titled, The Prince of Pincher, How Money Buys Silence. We uploaded it on a Monday morning. By lunch, it had 10,000 views. By dinner, it had 1 million. The internet did what the internet does best, it got angry. Hashtag Justice for Jessica trended worldwide. The video was everywhere. TikTok, Twitter, YouTube. People were dissecting Joseph's laugh, Tom's emails, Wendy's cackle. Wendy Wood, the campus Madonna, became the face of cruelty. Her social media was flooded with hate comments. She deleted her accounts within hours. Joseph tried to fight back. He posted a video claiming it was fake news, that I was a liar, that I was obsessed with him. But the internet saw through him. He looked unhinged, sweaty, desperate. Then the real consequences hit. The state prosecutor's office announced an investigation into the corruption allegations in my hometown. Tom Pincher's company stock plummeted as investors pulled out, not wanting to be associated with a family that covered up torture. And then, the acceptance letters. Joseph had bragged about getting into an Ivy League school early admission. His father had donated a new library wing. 3 days after the video went viral, the university issued a public statement, admission for student Joseph Pincher has been rescinded due to violation of the code of conduct. He lost his future. I sat in my aunt's living room, watching the news report. My parents were watching too. My father looked at the TV, then at me. He planned it? My father asked, his voice shaking. He said he didn't care if you died? Yes, Dad, I said softly. My father put his head in his hands and wept. Not for his job. But for me. For the first time, he realized he had been serving the devil. I thought it was over. I should have known better. 2 weeks later, I was walking home from school. I liked walking now. It felt reclaiming. A black van screeched to a halt beside me. The side door slid open. I didn't scream. I didn't freeze. I ran. But I wasn't fast enough. A hand grabbed my backpack, yanking me backward. A cloth was pressed over my face. It smelled of chemicals. The world went black. I woke up in a warehouse. My head was pounding. I was tied to a chair. Standing in front of me was Joseph. He looked like a ghost. His eyes were sunken, his hair wild. He was wearing dirty clothes. The prince had fallen. You ruined everything, he whispered. You ruined yourself, I rasped. My throat was dry. I had it all. Joseph screamed, kicking a metal barrel. The sound echoed like a gunshot. I had the school, the girl, the future. And you took it. You were just a pet. You were supposed to take it. I am a human being, Joseph. I yelled back. I am not a pet. He pulled a knife from his pocket. It doesn't matter now. My dad is going to jail. We lost the house. Wendy won't talk to me. I have nothing. He walked toward me. So neither do you. Joseph, don't do this, I said, trying to keep my voice steady. If you hurt me, you go away for life. Right now, you might just get probation. Don't throw away the rest of your life. My life is over, he roared. He raised the knife. Crash. The skylight above us shattered. Joseph looked up, startled. A drone dropped through the hole. Not a toy drone. A heavy, industrial drone. It hovered for a second, its camera fixing on Joseph. Then a voice boomed from the drone speaker. Step away from her, Joseph. It was Howard. Joseph swiped at the drone with his knife. What the hell? Another drone flew in through a broken window. Then another. 5 of them. They circled Joseph like a swarm of angry hornets. I am live streaming this to the police, Howard's voice said calmly. They are 2 minutes out. Drop the knife. Joseph looked at the drones, then at me. He looked trapped. He looked like a scared little boy. I just wanted. He stammered. You wanted control, I said. And now you have none. Sirens wailed in the distance. Getting closer. Joseph dropped the knife. He fell to his knees and started to cry. I didn't feel pity. I felt nothing. He was just a sad, broken thing. The police burst in a minute later. They tackled Joseph. They cut me loose. As they led me out, I saw Howard running toward the warehouse, a remote control in his hand. He looked terrified. Jessica. I ran to him. I hugged him. I buried my face in his chest and cried. You saved me, I sobbed. With drones. The irony. Howard laughed, a shaky, relieved sound. I thought it was poetic justice. Joseph went to prison. Attempted kidnapping, assault with a deadly weapon. He got 10 years. Tom Pincher went to prison for bribery and corruption. Susan moved away, changing her name in Shane. Wendy Wood transferred schools and disappeared into obscurity. My parents found new jobs. My aunt helped them open a small bakery in Clementia. My dad drives the delivery van. He smiles now. He looks me in the eye. And me? I graduated top of my class. I got into a good university, far away from everything. I'm studying psychology. I want to help kids who feel like pets. Howard went to MIT. We're still together. Long distance is hard, but we make it work. He sends me drones sometimes, little ones that carry notes or chocolates. One day, I went back to my hometown. Just to see. I walked past the school. I walked past the Pincher mansion, which was now foreclosed and overgrown with weeds. I stood in the spot where the drones had lifted me up. I looked at the sky. It wasn't scary anymore. It was just blue. Infinite. I remembered the girl who wet herself in front of everyone. The girl who crumpled to the ground. She was gone. In her place stood a woman who had learned to fly on her own terms. I took a deep breath, smiled, and walked away. And this time I knew I would never, ever have to come back. The end.